policy statement and medium-term debt management strategy. And I invite you now to give your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. But just at the very beginning, to correct that my letter read budget policy statement, not the medium-term debt management strategy. I had opportunity to do both for the National Assembly, and today what I have is the comments on the budget policy statement. So
you can share with us the written feedback you have on medium-term debt management strategy after this function. Thank you.
Thank you. So I received a letter, Honorable Chair, alluding to the medium-term assessment and fourth session planning retreat that was held on the 5th and 6th of February 2025, which I attended in Naivasha, and which I'm informed had passed a resolution regarding the implementation of Article 2493 of the Constitution, which requires Parliament to allocate adequate funds to enable each constitutional commission and independent office to perform its functions. So from the start, I wish to say that those are very supportive comments, but I have yet to receive the minutes of the retreat to see the resolutions. So maybe, Honorable Chair, you will also be passing them to me in due course. So following from that note of Article 249, then we have the budget policy statement in focus. And what I have here in front of us is a presentation where I'll be covering, first of all, the implementation status of the financial year 24-25 budget of my office as of 31st December 2024. Thereafter, there are details that we'll be seeing in Annex 1A and 1B, where we have a summary of the cumulative financial performance and the actual outputs received relative to the 2024-2025 targets, respectively. Now, my office has no capital projects, and so there'll be no new projects that I'll be covering. Then under 2, I'll be covering the key policies underlying expenditure ceilings in the 2025 budget policy statement, and I have a summary of the underlying policies in Annex 2. I'll be taking you through that. Then under 3, we'll look at the proposed budget estimates for the financial year 25-26. And here we will see the full budget that my office tabled of 1.6 billion to the public administration and international relations sector. This figure was subsequently revised downwards to Kenya shilling 777.5 million as per the budget policy statement 2025. And I'll be giving the detailed analysis as per Annex 3A and 3B. So the status report on the proposed budget estimates 25-26 will be the Annex 3A, and the notes to the medium-term expenditure program, that is the MTEF, projects and activities earmarked for implementation in the proposed budget will be in Annex 3B. So that is the summary of what I'll be presenting. Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, I would like straight away to move to Annex 1A, and we did say that Annex 1A will be giving us the actual implementation of the budget of the Office of the Control of Budget. So we have columns and I believe everybody has a copy of this, where we can see the head, title and details. Then very importantly, we can see the printed estimates for 24-25. Then next to that, we have the actual expenditure as of 31st December 2024, followed by the percentage of utilization and the remarks. Now, the import of this report here is to show what we have actually spent. And we will notice we will be coming across some areas where there is underspending, and also there are areas where there is overspending relative to the time of the year that we are talking about. But I'll explain everything. Now, the first four: basic salaries, basic wages, personal allowances paid as part of salary, and employer contributions. All these, Honorable Chair and members, are personnel emoluments issues. And here we can see that the percentages vary between 36% and 53% because of we intended to do some recruitments, but they were not complete as of December. But as I speak to you now, the staff are already on the ground. We recruited 10 staff and they are now on the ground. At the same time, I may need to tell you that I've also been losing some staff. And in fact, in the last 6 months, we have lost 7, whom we'll be asking to replace. So part of the reason is, why are the staff leaving? The staff are leaving because our office is very popular and has a very high reputation, but poor pay. Now, a combination of those two is not a good combination, because when they go to interviews, they score very highly, but then they find that they earn very low, so they tend to jump ship. Now, let me move to communication supplies. The printed estimates was 8 million. We have so far spent 1.3, but we have since procured. Honorable members, you remember this is now March. We have since spent most of that money, and it is not there. Domestic travel and subsistence, where we had been allocated 12.046, we had spent 10 million as of December, that is 83%, and as I speak now, we have nothing, we have 0. So we are waiting for the supplementary budget probably to have a little to move us to the end of the financial year. On printing, advertising, information and supply services, this is for the quarterly reports that I make. We were allocated 42.7 million. As of December, we had spent 12.5, and the procurement process was ongoing because currently we are printing for the half-year report. Then rental of produced assets, we were allocated 17.6. We had spent 8.4 by then, and this relates to the rent of the 2 floors we have rented in NBK building over and above the Bima house, because we had a shortage of office space. Training expenses, with an allocation of 5.976, we had spent 3.639, which is 61% as of December, and as of March, actually that figure is now used up. Hospitality and supplies, we had been allocated 5.5, we had spent 2.49, which was about halfway, and we are procuring on a continuous basis. Insurance costs, with an allocation of 34.08, we had only spent 1%, which is 352, because all our renewals come in early June. So this only takes place in the second quarter, fourth quarter rather, which is April to June. On specialized materials, a small item there with 700,000, and we had spent 29,000 to be incurred also in the third and fourth quarters. Then under office and general supplies, we had been allocated 5.215 million, and we had spent 712, and many of the procurements are in the third and fourth quarters. Fuel, oils and lubricants, we were allocated 2.8, and I think there seems to be a mistake there. Honorable Chair and members, we usually pay for fuel upfront, and I think we have not captured the last payment that we made to the oil company. That's why we are showing 1%. Other operating expenses, 28.9 million. This takes care of our monitoring and evaluation and other related expenses. We were at 38%. We have since done the balance of the monitoring and evaluation, and as of March, it is used up. Routine maintenance of vehicles, we had been allocated 2.3 million, and we had spent 896, which is 38%, with more procurements of repairs and maintenance ongoing. Routine maintenance of other assets with an allocation of 1.386, and we had spent 223,000, which is 16%, but there is procurement ongoing. On the government pensions and retirement benefits with an allocation of 24.134, this is for gratuities for staff on contract, and we have about 6 officers that whose contract ended, but they are yet to be paid, and they'll be paid shortly. On purchase of office furniture, we were allocated 4.3, and the procurement process is ongoing. Purchase of specialized 5 procurements are ongoing. So the total budget, which is overleaf, is our total budget was 704.251 million, and as of December we had spent 245.2, which is 35%. But as explained, a lot of those items had not been spent. One of the challenges, Honorable Chair, that we've had is with the very small allocations, we are not able to do anything in full in Q1 or Q2. So we wait up to the third quarter allocation for the amount to be sufficient to buy something, because we are given money on a quarterly basis. So because of that, many of our procurements come in the third and fourth quarters. A very lean budget, I must say, but we have managed to survive with the lean budget because we keep our expenses to the bare minimum. So, and I think alone, this annex may not tell us much, but as we get into the other annexes, we'll be making meaning to what we have just had. Annex 1B is on the non-financial performance, which gives the actuals of what we do. And our program is called the Control and Management of Public Finances. And under this program, Honorable Chair and members, we have 4 sub-programs. Number 1 is the authorization of withdrawals from public funds and performance indicators. This is, for instance, the number of days it takes to review process requests for withdrawal funds from the consolidated fund. One, we have the judiciary fund, then we have the equalization fund, and then we have, for the counties, the county revenue fund. And our target is to take 1 day. So if we have all the required documents, the requisition is approved within 1 day. As of December, we had continued to achieve this target of 1 day. On public debt requisitions, that's another area that we carry out. It's a separate component. Our target, annual target, is to do 115. This 115 is actually per week, not per day. As of December, we had continued to achieve that target. We first of all pre-authorize all invoices before receiving the requisition to pay the debt. So these files go through two processes. In the coming financial year, we expect these files to increase due to the increased borrowing. So our target will be at 140 per week. The number of days taken to process pensions and gratuity files, we take about 4 days. Again, this is because pension files go through a process of verification through the system before the requisitions for payment come to me for sign-off. So again, this should continue in the next financial year with an average of 30,000 files being processed annually. The second sub-program is called Budget Implementation and Monitoring. And this covers the timely reporting of the budget implementation review reports. And our target, rather the KPI, is the number of statutory budget implementation review reports published for the national and the consolidated county government reports as well. So for the whole year, we expect to do 8 reports for national and 8 reports for the counties. As of December, we had done 4, so we are on target. We have not failed to produce any report. So this again is expected to remain the same in the next financial year, where we produce the quarterly budget implementation review reports. Then we have special, I'm sure the honorable senators here may have received something in their mail called the M&E report for your respective counties. Now we expect this to continue in the next financial year. But I may need to say here, Honorable Chair, that we have been very constrained with resources. So we've been doing the counties piecemeal. So sometimes we do 15, wherever the funds can get us. Right now, we've just finished 12, and we hope that this is one area that will be better funded because it supports a lot of other offices, if I may say, and also supports the reports that we write, the quarterly reports, because that is when we ground truth on the issues that are self-reported by the counties. We intended to do quarterly popular versions of the national and county budget review reports, 8 of them corresponding to the quarterly reports. We've been unable to do these popular versions due to budgetary constraints. This is an area we had included in our budget for 25-26, but it has still not been funded. Public sensitization forums on budget implementation is also part of our role. and we targeted to do at least 2 public sensitization forums. As of December, we had not done any, and we are not likely to do any for the rest of the year due to budgetary constraints. These forums require bringing together a number of counties and sensitizing the citizens at the grassroots on the budget process and how to participate. So this is an unfunded area. I'll go to the third sub-program, which is the General Administration and Planning and Support Services. And here, the KPI is on the performance report prepared and submitted. We also look at implementation percentage of the human resource instruments, as well as the percentage level of automation of the withdrawal processes of funds. So in terms of performance reports, these are in percentages. We targeted 100%. By December, we had done 30%. We hope to achieve 100% by the end of the financial year and continue into next financial year. In terms of the human resource instruments, we targeted 20%, and we had achieved the 20% as of December, and we expect to complete the implementation of this in the next financial year, that is 25-26, and I'll be explaining a bit more about what we have done with our human resource instruments. In terms of the percentage level of automation of withdrawals, our target was 20%, and we had done the 20% by December, but this is an area again that requires that several other partners come on board. We cannot automate as a standalone in the Office of the Control of Budget. Those who are sending us the reports must also automate. The National Treasury must automate in the same process, and the CBK must also automate. And the implication here is that we hope that come next year, 25-26, when all these parties come together, we can complete the automation, especially of the county processes. We have automated the national government requisition process, and you may have read in the press a report that I gave on the automation, that although the process is automated, it's not being used. We are only using it occasionally and selectively. Then we have the fourth and last sub-program, which is research and development. And here we do planning, monitoring, and evaluation services. And we expect to have one survey, and by one survey, it means covering each of our clients or stakeholders at least once. Now, we had not finished a survey as of December due to lack of funding, but we visited 14 counties, that is overleaf, in terms of the M&E reports produced. So we hope that we can complete and do this fully in the next financial year, that is 25-26. I have indicated there the 14 that we had covered by December. So I hope we are okay that far. And the next item, therefore, I'll be covering is now to go to the policies underlying the expenditure ceilings in the 2025 budget policy statement. Now, when we looked at the 2025 budget policy statements, we we saw a lot of factors, but of course we were trying to handle what relates to us. Now we could see information on key government policies and programs to be implemented over the medium term in order to realize policies. The identification and selection of government programs is therefore informed by those same policies. The legislative and executive processes tasked with spearheading and determination of the expenditure ceilings for the various ministries, departments and agencies as contained in the 2025 Budget Policy Statement should therefore aim at the rationalization of the expected benefits to be derived from the implementation of the planned programs and associated costs. To ensure a realistic budget that will facilitate the implementation of government programs and policies, there is a need for broad-based consultations among the relevant parties involved in the process. This approach will ensure important programs are prioritized for funding, while those with less immediate impact to society are considered afterwards. As one of the two independent offices with the mandate to provide oversight over public funds, the control of budget plays an important role in ensuring the implementation of government programs and policies. The two key roles of my office, therefore, are as follows. Article 2285 of the Constitution mandates my office to ensure prudent management of public funds at national and county levels by authorizing all withdrawals from public funds to support the implementation of government programs. Article 2286 mandates my office to provide quarterly reports to each House of Parliament and to the President on the implementation of government programs. So in a nutshell, those would be the two key roles that my office plays in the implementation of the budget. Now, in the 2025 Budget Policy Statement, we see a number of policies whose implementation will be directly dependent on the role of my office in the budget implementation process. What are some of these policies? I'll take you through them. If we look at the policy on the management of pending bills, in the 2025 Budget Policy Statement, the government has underscored the need for a plan to pay all pending bills at national and county levels. Currently, pending bills at the national and county governments stand at Kenya shillings 524.07 billion and Kenya shillings 180.2 billion respectively. This policy will mitigate the losses realized by those businesses that have provided goods and services to the government in the past. So my office has continued to enforce compliance among county governments by requiring that all counties submit pending bills payment plans at the beginning of every financial year in line with the National Treasury Circular. There is also a need for constant monitoring and reporting on the pending bill status. The second policy is that on the management of the public sector wage bill. In the 2025 Budget Policy Statement, we have identified the reduction in public sector wage bill as one of the key fiscal consolidation targets to be pursued by the government.
More Radio, 88.2 FM. We are in charge. More Radio, 88.2 FM. We are in charge. More Radio, 88.2 FM. We are in charge. More Radio, 88.2 FM. We We are in charge. More Radio 88.2 FM. 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 We are in charge.